Well, howdy doody, folks. Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. We got to double check and make sure what day it is because I still don't feel well, but we're still going to rock it out anyway because truth and freedom and figuring out what in the world is going on is more important than anything else. You can sleep in your dead, as the great Ted Nugent said. So we are going to get after it today and make sure we're bringing the signal, bringing the noise, bringing the sauce, and we're getting down to the bottom of what's going on. We talked yesterday, did some videos yesterday about, in the last couple of days on our blog. Go find our blog in the description below if you like reading things instead about the Silvergate, SVB, Signature Bank, all these bailouts, and what is happening. And this is the exact reason that we have these problems, and your month ends and you don't have enough money. This is why Social Security is bust. This is why Medicare is bust. This is why all of these programs are bust, because we continue to bail people out. We're in a debt-based fiat Ponzi system, and this is how the banks are run. The dollar is debt. People are holding and saving dollars they think are assets on their balance sheet, but they're really about liabilities. I don't know how many more effing times we have to say this here, but that is the sole reason there are problems. This is absolute lunacy that we have to keep talking about this over and over again. And my biggest fear, actually, and after listening to a dozen hours of Twitter Spaces over the last few days, because that's all I've really been able to do, is so many people just don't even get it. And the Wall Street people are the worst. I mean, they live in the system, in this perch, and you're telling them, hey, we have an answer to this system and this crony clown world going on, and they just don't even see it because they're part of that problem. We are so far away. My biggest fear is that so many people are going to be hurt and blindsided by the systemic collapses and the coming destruction and the unrest that's going to ensue in the coming months, the coming years of this system ripping itself apart, because that's what all fiat monetary systems do. They rip themselves apart, 100% failure rate, that they're going to scream and cry and beg the government for a CBDC, for a slavery coin, for a Fed coin. That's my biggest fear. But at the end of the day, I do think that Bitcoin will shine through. I do have hope for humanity. You look at Nigeria, all the different stories we've run here, and the amount of really good stories coming out of there, and people not accepting the e-naira, the digital currency there at all, and accepting Bitcoin in droves instead, and what's going on really all around the world, people accepting Bitcoin obviously ripping up through here, oil way down. So we'll check on these really quick. The trifecta, crude oil way down today, and getting beat up. Gold and silver up, which is, again, the flight to safe havens when people are in trouble. So we're going to go kind of backwards today with the three liquidity indicators. Bitcoin, again, way up, again, like 17-20% on the week, like 10% each day here on average. So we see people understanding that we can be our own bank. We don't need a bank, a traditional bank, the fiat legacy Ponzi system. I think John Har said it the greatest. People just want to hold their money. That's all they want. They just want their money to be held for them. They want a full reserve system. A lot of people think they're in a full reserve system. Actually, I would venture to guess that most people think they're in a full reserve system, only to find out once they're in line trying to get their deposits out of their bank, or they're at the ATM machine pecking at the keyboard, and it says, hey, sorry, you can only get $30 out today, or $60, which has happened in the past and will happen again, bank holidays. And they realize, what is going on? Well, that's a fractional reserve system, and that's exactly what we have, where they take $1 from you and they lend out 90 cents of it or more. We have a zero reserve right now, technically, in many ways. So they don't have to keep any of your cash on deposit. They just go lend it out and gamble in the stock market. You unknowingly, you give your dollars to the bank, they can just go gamble. They can go put it in mortgage-backed securities, buy real estate, give out business loans, give out whatever it is. And that could happen in a full reserve system too. They just need deposits. A lot of community banks and financial local banks, they depend on customer deposits to go fund their loans and make money in that spread. They pay out short and they lend long. So they pay out a small interest rate and then they lend at a higher interest rate and they make that spread. That's how banks make money. This fiat debt-based system, though, we incentivize bad behavior because we now are bailing out everyone, whether it's depositors or whether it's the banks themselves. We are now aiding and abetting the system in our own demise, our own slavery, because we are incentivizing terrible behavior. What in the world is going to make any person say, you know what, I need to be diligent. I need to understand what I'm getting into. I need to understand what I'm doing. This is why I was so ticked off yesterday. A third of my video cut out. I got two separate videos. It's actually a 15-minute video, and there's two 5-minute videos. I was irate. And the fact that we're bailing people out, I have closed down businesses. I have really kept my business growth at bay many times because I'm just too early. I'm seeing too far down the road, and I'm sitting there saying, wow, this is going to collapse. And then things do collapse over the last 15 years, and we just continually bail things out. We don't let the forest fire go through, burn all the bad actors out, and then let the new growth come up. And so you have people like me and I'm not trying to be cocky, but you have good actors, people that have stable balance sheets and then monitor their balance sheets. And actually, we just wrote it on our blog as well. You can see we could have had a bank run on our balance sheet in a way because we had a private money lender we lent money out to, and the banks weren't refinancing our loans last year because they were just being ridiculous and arbitrarily moving the rules. And my private money lender, the year term was coming up and he wanted his money back. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they'll refinance. Well, he wanted his money back. So I had to find other money in the balance sheet that we had and go give it to him. If that wouldn't have happened, we would have had problems. That's what's happening in the banking system. So I, as a little old lowly person who manages his balance sheet well over the last 15 years, continually grows my wealth, and I actually have assets to cover my lending, to actually cover what's going on. So it can be done. Yet we just choose to let banks and let people, the 1%, I should say the top 1,000th of 1%, do whatever the flying HE double hockey sticks, do what they want, and no one pays a price. So we get worse service, worse products, and we all suffer a lower standard of living because of this. This continually happens over and over and over again and will not stop until the system A completely implodes on itself and collapses, or B, we wake the F up and start eradicating the diseases from our system. Bad actors, liars, cheats, grifters, grafters, rent seekers, bad politicians, people that don't have your liberty and security. That's it. They don't have those things in mind. That's the only way these two things play out, is those two things: education and in gutting the system of all the riffraff, or just complete collapse and civil unrest everywhere, because this has happened over and over again. Look at the Arab Spring on down; it happens everywhere. Sri Lankan palace and them overrunning the palace. I mean, I could sit here for hours. We can do a whole podcast for hours on all of the different bank runs, just going through with each thing, and civil unrest everywhere. So this will continue happening. And we continue to not learn our lesson, and we're going to keep going down the same path. I've chosen to be part of the new system, to be part of the Bitcoin life raft, moving away from the sinking Titanic, and be a part of the system that's building the new future. Period. Because it will happen. It'll probably happen 10 years from now or 20 years from now. But that's the system I want to live in, because I'm still going to be young at that time. My kids are still going to be young, and my grandkids, they're still going to have to live in the system somehow. I don't want them living in Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise 2, Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise in Back to the Future 2. I do not want that. I do not want to go and have to get gas sitting with a shotgun in my front seat and waiting for gas because I don't know who's going to come after me. That's insane clown world that we don't have to live in. We don't have to live in a fifth world country if we don't want to, but yet we are choosing, we are hurtling towards it like Apollo 13, going towards the returning it to the atmosphere, not knowing, are we going to burn up or not? Is our heat shield gone or not? We are just hurtling towards it. We don't know if we're going to skip off or go too steep and just burn up. We have no idea, because we choose to put our heads in the sand and do nothing about it, and continually vote for morons and vote for feelings and wokeness over truth and reality and merit. That's it. Period. We could have a life 1,000 times better than we have it now, 1,000 times more abundant, 10,000 times more abundant, a million times more abundant, and a cheaper, more prosperous life, better, higher standards of living, better products, better service, if we went to an equity-based system, a Bitcoin-backed system, a system backed by money, and rooting out all the grift and graft. It's just absolute clown world. I'm going to get off my pedestal. I thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's go over these really quick. We just looked at all these. Bitcoin's obviously ripping. People are starting to, at least a fraction of people are starting to realize, oh, we should probably be our own bank. We should probably be in a system that actually I can be my own bank. I don't have to be in this Ponzi scheme. It's literally what it is. You hold dollars. If you hold dollars, you're holding a debt instrument. It's backed by nothing. It's a debt instrument that is, you are told is an asset. Think about that. The game's being played on you. The game's being played on you. That's it. So gold and silver up, like we said. Crude oil getting hammered. Bitcoin up, obviously, over the last few days. The 10-year went down, obviously a huge move down, and then just bounced back up a little bit. So people are, these are stabilized. The markets overall are fairly stabilized. The DXY is not changed too much from the last day or so, and it's at 103.6. So not changed. That hasn't changed too much from yesterday. But again, we see this huge move down in correlation with the 10-year treasury, obviously, right? So people are saying, whoa, get me out of here. I need to get into safety because I don't know what's going on. And these are small moves, really, at the end of the day. These are still, these are big moves in general, but at the end of the day, nothing's even happened yet. Nothing's even happened yet. There's going to be crazy things that happen, civil unrest. You guys remember what happened in 2020 and in 2019. You guys saw what happened in 2008. We're going to have these times come again, and I don't know when they are. I'm usually very early. Very early. So take what I say. This is insurance buying time. We probably have a number of years, quite honestly. We probably have 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, whatever. We have this decade probably to prepare, but maybe not. I mean, we're getting closer and closer. This system is at its 50-year mark, this fiat monetary system. And these systems usually only last 30, 40 years. So we are at the end. Again, the Fed generally can kick the can a lot longer and farther than I think any of us ever really expected. So just be prepared. This is insurance buying time. That's all it is. Actual insurance, right? Real insurance, getting real insurance, but food storage, energy, water, land, barterability, guns, firearms, ammo, Bitcoin, gold, silver. Become independent, become resilient, and you will sleep like a baby at night. All these things, these bank runs of people that aren't prepared, that's what I said yesterday, that's their fault. If you're not prepared and you don't do 5 minutes of homework to see, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have put my deposits in this bank, or maybe I shouldn't do this and that. I know these factors. I've been studying this for 15 years in operating and running businesses and investing. I know these. That's why I have deposits in different banks, but not much. I don't carry much cash in general. We were trying to raise some cash short term, but it's spread around different banks. And guess what? A lot of it's just liquid in other assets. It's in Bitcoin, gold and silver, and I honestly won't even buy treasuries just because it's just immoral to me. I was just thinking about that today. Like, I haven't bought treasuries. I don't know if I ever will because it's just immoral. You're literally guaranteeing the government's going to just tax you in the future and enslave yourself. So do with it what you may. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. While we're signing off here, let's look at Bitcoin. Let's see if Bitcoin is running. Is it doing what it should be doing? Because you know what's not running? Silvergate Bank, Credit Suisse, Signature Bank, First Republic, Silicon Valley Bank. They aren't running. So what are we going to do here? What are we doing at the end of the day? So I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. My computer won't load, obviously. So please share this out. Algorithm hates truth, just hates truth, despises it. So please share this out. We're the only chance we have at more prosperity for each other is building community, the people we are looking at here. And I appreciate your time here because it's the most important asset we have. Bitcoin is time and time is Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. It's freedom advice. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. We're just not going to get this to work at all, are we? Come on, we got to do it right before we go. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Weird. Weird how this is working. TikTok, next block every 10 minutes. But the banks aren't. It's almost like we could predict it. See you guys in the next one.